Next, I'm going to move on to power transmission. So the way that we're going to transmit the power from this gearbox to these two front wheels are through chain. There's also the option of pulleys or belts, but right now we're just going to use chain. I can show you what the pulleys and belts would look like though. So you can see the belts would go here around this. So they're lighter and they don't require any tensioning, but we're just going to go with chain right now. So the first thing I'm going to do is create a new component as usual. Or no, sorry, I already have a component here. I'm going to activate this component and start working on it. So the first thing that I'm going to add is the cam. Earlier I mentioned how we're going to do something to make the distance between the cam and the Versa block still 1.64, even though the distance drilled between the holes is 1.75. And in case what I was explaining wasn't clear earlier, I'm just going to show that to you right now. Because the center is dropped, when I point the center of the Versa block to the center of the circle that we're going to drill, they're not going to actually be aligned, so you have to manually drop it a 1/16 of an inch. And then here, I'm not going to actually do it in the CAD, but in reality we would move this so that the distance here is 1.64 and then tighten the bolts here. So the initial position would be like this, and then the cam would turn and push it further away when necessary. So when we actually attach it, even though the center would be here, we'd end up doing something like this, so that the distance is 1.64. And then I'm going to do the same for this. For this one, we need to rotate it so that it's a 1/16 of an inch up rather than a 1/16 of an inch down. And then manually move it up. Now, because I don't want to do the same thing to the other side, I'm going to create another midplane like we did for the gearbox. And then mirror these two. Next, I'm going to add bearings into this. And actually, I'm going to delete this mirror because I don't want to do it just yet. And then I'm going to add bearings into these and then mirror it. I'm going to extrude this to be 0.1, just so we can have some spacers there. I'm not going to do that yet because I want the wheels to be in line, but you can see this Versa block is thicker than this bearing block, so they're not going to be in line if I just extrude a 0.1 inch spacer. This one I need to extrude like this. Select this. So it's going to be a 0.287 spacer, not a 0.1 spacer. Then I'm going to input a Versa hub. And same as with the gears, you want to select the middle, so hold Command. Then I need 4-inch wheels. These ones. And then finally I'm going to add another Versa hub to the end of this. Next we need to add the actual sprockets that are going to hold the chain. So I'm just going to create a spacer that runs. Let's check the width of the sprocket. So we're not actually going to be using a double sprocket, we're just going to be using a single one. This one. You can see this isn't in line, so I'm just going to check how much it's off by. And now it's in line. And now it's pretty much in line. So now I'm just going to figure out the length of thunder hex that I need. This one could probably be 3.625. This is the wrong sprocket, that's not a 1/2-inch hex bore. So I'm going to need to import this file. Okay, I'm going to delete this sprocket as well as this one and insert this. And then this sprocket should be 4 inches. Or sorry, this thunder hex should be 4 inches. And finally this one. Probably 6.25 could work. but this is going to fall into the gearbox. So that's pretty much everything from the power transmission, except for the chain. So I'm not going to actually CAD the chain, but I am going to extrude a loop because I just need to ensure that nothing's going to interfere with the chain, and that's the best way to do that. So I'm going to activate power right again, and then create a sketch on this face. And then I'm going to project this and project this, and then create circles. Here and here, tangent, constrain these, and then you're done with that. And do the same here. And finish the sketch, and then before I extrude, I just want to figure out the actual width of this. .354. And then the sprocket itself is 0.11. So when I extrude this, and then I'll do the same for the other side. So that's the chain. And now that we're done with pretty much everything in the gearbox and the power components, I'm just going to mirror them across this. And then change the names, but I'm going to leave the mirror just so that I remember. And that's the end of all the power transmission stuff. Go to the slides for the steps and reminders, and next up is the bumpers.